remind you to support charities like our friends at Toys for Tots. Toys for Tots is the official holiday charity brought to you by the United States Marine Corps. Their primary goal is to deliver, through a shiny new toy at Christmas, a message of hope to needy children that will motivate them to grow into responsible, productive, and patriotic citizens and community leaders. Toys for Tots will also accept monetary donations as well. This great tradition dates back to 1947 and is continuing to thrive throughout Northeast Ohio. If you or someone you know would like to make a difference in the lives of a young child during the 2013 holidays, please visit toysfortots.org to find where you can deposit your brand new toy or make a monetary donation. That's toysfortots.org.
Welcome to So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland. Every Wednesday from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, James, Josh, Kramer, AJ, Brian, and the one and only Chirk Berserk get together to discuss a wide variety of topics across the sports world. During these discussions, we let our opinions fly with a dash of comedy. And now, here's your show, So What's the Catch?
Welcome to So What's the Catch here on All Sports Cleveland. How you guys doing?
Doing all right. How about you?
Doing pretty good.
How you doing over there, Zach?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me again.
This is kind of weird because the Browns are on a bye week, so not really much to talk about game-wise.
But we can still do One Word Wednesday, and we're going to change this a bit because usually One Word Wednesday is like, what was your one word to describe last week's game? But you're right, since it's a bye week, we're going to change things up. What is your one word to describe this week's game against Baltimore?
Quarterback.
All right.
Okay, quarterback. Definitive.
Receiving.
I'll say crucial.
Crucial. Okay. All right. Chirk, you said quarterback. Why did you say quarterback?
Because we need one.
But besides that, is it just that, or is there anything else to that?
Because the other one could beat us.
Well, of course.
Okay.
All right.
But he could also throw some interceptions and we could win the game like last time.
Yeah.
Well, they lost last time.
Yeah.
I know we did, but we could win and actually take advantage this time.
Well, okay. We'll get into that in a little bit. But what was your word again?
I said receiving.
Receiving. Why'd you say receiving?
Twofold. Number one, if Baker actually throws good passes, which he may or may not, our receivers actually have to catch it. And number two, are the Ravens actually going to try and pass the ball?
They might. I mean, they really don't have to, but they might. It's possible.
So that's what I'm thinking in terms of receiving.
Okay. Zach, you went with crucial.
Yes, I did.
All right. Why'd you choose crucial?
Well, I feel like we say this every single week with the Browns, but it feels like this is a must-win against a rival team in our division, and because of that, it makes this game crucial, as I said. And I feel like the Browns have to win this game if they want to continue any type of discussion of a playoff push. So that's why I went with crucial.
Okay. I chose definitive, similar reasons why, because I feel we'll get a definitive answer on whether or not this season is over or they're still alive somehow. Okay, and as far as receiving goes, by the way, in quarterback, Baker Mayfield, Browns receivers.
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Baker Mayfield is throwing a career high 21.5% bad throws. Bad throw percentage. Okay, so over a fifth of his passes are classified as bad throws. He does have a career high 75.5% on target percentage. But this is interesting because you mentioned it, receivers dropping passes. Career low 3.7 drop percentage. So I know everyone likes to pass the buck on the receivers, but sounds like Baker's at fault for a lot of this.
I'm not necessarily like blaming the receiver. I was just saying it more as a generic thing.
Well, I'm just talking about the general discourse in regards to the Browns receivers and how it's not Baker's fault, but it sounds like kind of is.
I would say it's a combination of both, but I would say it's more in the direction of Baker, if that makes sense.
I put like the overwhelming majority of the passing game's failure on him. The team the teams aren't blitzing him. He has all the time in the world in the pocket to throw. He doesn't see the receiver. When he does, he throws a terrible pass. It's been the story all season long.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's really what it is. I mean, I don't know what is going to happen, this weekend. It's going to be, I think, the chance for the Browns to win was the last game against Baltimore. That was their chance. Baltimore's not going to play that poorly again. Our defense is not going to play that well again. And our offense is going to continue to be a steaming pile of crap. So I think this is a game where Lamar has his get-right game and they blow the doors off him.
Will this be the game we're officially out of the playoffs, you think?
I think they were officially out of the playoffs 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. But I think this is the moment that the door gets slammed shut. That people can stop holding on to that little percentage of hope.
And if they win, what would you say?
What'd you say?
If they win, what would you say?
They're still facing an uphill battle, but I would still think they missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
They have a better chance, but I still think they would miss.
Don't they almost essentially have to win out to make the playoffs?
They pretty much do.
Yeah, basically they need to win out. And
Consensus.
yeah, considering they have to play Baltimore, Vegas, Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, the chances of them winning out are slim to none.
I would say 0% that they went out.
That's fair, actually. I'll give you that.
0%. I think there's zero chance because I think they maybe win one more game at best the rest of the year.
As I've said, there are 2 winnable games left on the schedule. I know you dispute me a little bit on this, but next week against the Raiders and Week 18 against Cincinnati. Those are the only 2 winnable games left I see on the Browns schedule.
I say it's the Raiders game. I say it's absolutely the Raiders game, and that's it. The Bengals game, the Bengals are going to be in the mix for the playoffs, so they're going to give you their best shot. And the Browns are going to be out of the playoffs by that point officially, so we're probably going to see maybe Case Keenum. We'll probably see a heavy Dearness Johnson game. We'll see more Jamarcus Bradley for no reason. You'll see other guys like Clowney shut down for no reason and not play.
Do you guys just think the AFC's just become more competitive?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we'll talk about that in a couple segments, but yeah, I think the AFC has become a lot more competitive. There seems to be a lot more parity in the NFL this year.
I don't know if it's necessarily that the AFC's got more competitive. I just think that other teams have passed the Browns with their quarterback play. And ultimately, that's where you win or lose in the NFL is you have a quarterback that can play. And that's where they're at. They have a quarterback who is a liability, okay? He is not leading the team. He's not carrying the team. He's not what drives the team. I've said it before and I'll say it again. He was never the reason why the Browns were winning games. They're winning games with him, not because of him. That's different from teams like the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. That's different from the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. That's different from the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. Those teams are winning because of their quarterbacks, not with their quarterbacks.
Is Baltimore winning, though, because of Lamar?
It wasn't.
Where would that offense be without Lamar? Answer that.
True.
That's fair, but what about that Ravens defense? They played well this season.
They have one of the worst passing defenses in the entire league.
Good luck trying to run on them, though.
Doesn't matter with this team. They're not going to pass. And if they do, they're going to be pathetic. It's going to be another pathetic showing from Mr. Baker Mayfield. Because that's what it is. Every single time.
So, with the performance of Baker Mayfield, I know you obviously think he was the wrong choice at number 1 overall. And I would share the same sentiment. But does this look like a bad reflection on John Dorsey?
Why are we talking about John Dorsey? He's gone now.
Yes, but he's the one who drafted Baker.
Yeah, the pick was a mistake.
So is it a bad look for John Dorsey then?
Sure, but he's gone, so it doesn't really matter now. You got to look towards the future. Don't look to what he did, okay? Because we could point fingers and say
Sam Darnold too.
Everyone connected to this current version of the Browns has made tons of mistakes more than John Dorsey has, okay? Because you got to remember, Andrew Berry was here during Sashi Brown's disastrous tenure as general manager, okay? And Paul DePodesta is still here for some reason, which I don't know, okay? Because the guy doesn't do anything, okay? I don't know what he does.
It's for marketing because of Moneyball.
That guy is a clown, okay? He
don't
has
think
no
he's
reason to be
analytical?
on this front office. He needs to be gone.
You don't think
Ask
he's
him what he does. He'll give you this 3-paragraph long answer and tell you nothing.
What you got over there, Zach?
Yeah, what you got?
Well, here's a question for you. Is it almost better for the franchise moving forward if the Browns were to, say, lose out the rest of the season, thus getting a better draft pick? Or would you want them to be competitive just to be competitive?
What you want them, honestly, from a fan perspective, you want them to play as poorly as possible. And here's why. Because if you have some little run, that gives you some little belief that, oh, maybe Baker can turn it around. Then you're still stuck in no man's land, which is where they entered 2020 at. That's where they entered this year at, where you don't have an answer, is he good or bad? You want him to play god-awful so that the Browns front office could be like, this ain't our guy, we need to get someone better. Okay?
Should we
Because
draft a quarterback?
I see it. That makes sense.
Because if you're in the middle, being in the middle is the worst place to be in the NFL when it comes to quarterback play. Okay, because it's good enough where people can convince themselves, what about all these other guys that are terrible? But it's not good enough to actually have a playoff run, and that's where the Browns are. They're in the middle, and that sucks.
Yep, they are mid, as MJF from AEW likes to say. But there's your daily wrestling point. Because we got rid of
Gotta get it in there.
Yes, we got rid of combat sports, so had to get it in somehow, some way. But anyway, so Baker isn't. Yeah, he's trying to get a contract extension, but I believe I saw this earlier. It's not like he's going to be a free agent after this year. I'm pretty sure he still has 1 year left.
He has 1 year left. They're going to be paying him $18 million on the 5th-year option they never should have picked up.
So that's why he has a year left.
Yeah, he has a year left, but I mean, he made a mistake in not getting the surgery or resting earlier in the season. Okay.
Oh, I agree with you on
He should
that
have
one.
rested in the earlier in the season, because maybe you can tell me that Case Keenum couldn't have gotten to 6-6. Are you really going to tell me that he couldn't have played at the same level of crap that Baker Mayfield has and have the team in the exact same standpoint? Because I'm going to tell you right now, he could do what Baker Mayfield's done up to this point.
He probably would be.
He might even be better.
I was just going to say that.
But he should have rested, because let's say he rested and all of a sudden he's actually healthy, not healthy, air quotes, that he is now. This could be a time where he steps in. He could be the hero after the bye week, come from the stretch run, have the team go on fire, and go on a playoff run. But now, we're watching a guy who looks like a broken action figure that can't stand on 2 legs. Okay?
Yeah, so to kind of just add on to what you were saying, I've had some shoulder problems of my own personally this, I guess you could say, NFL season, even though I'm not in the NFL.
We'll roll with it.
Yeah, and what I've come to thinking is just, how does Baker deal with these problems and sustain any type of success as a quarterback, whereas I can barely function as a normal human being in a classroom setting, yet Baker is this quarterback with all these health issues, and he continues to, like you were saying, say that he's healthy and continue to play, and I just don't think that's appropriate, and I think he's just going to get hurt more and more.
Yeah, I just think we're going to see a lot of just poor play down the stretch from the quarterback position for the Browns. But with that, we got to head to a break. When we come back, we got more Browns talk, talking about who's going to be the most important player on both sides of the ball. Stick around.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hey, y'all, Jeff Foxworthy here. Now, if you've ever found yourself repeating the same thing over and over for 75 years, you might be Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
That's why I'm filling in for Smokey to switch things up, because there's a lot more to say. And I should know because my grandfather was a firefighter. And one of the things he taught me is that the people that love the outdoors the most are often the ones accidentally starting wildfires, which means always BYOB. No, bring your own bucket to the campfire. And be extra careful with things like burning yard trimmings. Don't just walk away, or chances are you might be starting a wildfire. So for the love of the outdoors, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You've never experienced anything like this before. From insight to comedy to whatever Chirk Berserk is doing, this is So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland.
Welcome back to So What's the Catch here on All Sports Cleveland.
I haven't given up, James. I think they could still do it.
I know you do, but sometimes I wonder how much of this is genuine fandom and how much is you just trying to troll me, jerk.
I think it's mostly him trying to troll you. But, as you said before the break, we are talking more Browns, and we are going to talk a little bit about who the most important player is down the stretch. So let's start with the offense. Rule out Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb. Who's the most important player offensively in these final 5 games?
Nick Chubb.
You have to rule. He's ruled out Chirk. So no Baker, no Chubb. Who's the next most important person on the offense?
David Njoku.
Okay. You chose him to troll me. That's okay. Is that your answer? Is that your real answer?
My real answer, I'll probably say, I'll probably say Jarvis Landry.
Okay.
I'm actually going to say Austin Hooper.
All right. I am also going Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, I was going to say Landry as well. Isn't Njoku on the...
He's on the reserve COVID list.
Yeah, the COVID something. So they don't know if he's going to play
He's
or not.
very questionable, doubtful to play this weekend. And if he doesn't play, they'll have one tight end this week against the Ravens, and that'll be Austin Hooper. Because Harrison Bryant has been announced as out. David Njoku could be out. Steven Carlson's been out this entire season. Hello, Austin Hooper. Hello, complete nightmare scenario for this Browns offense. Because they've deployed multiple tight end sets more than anyone. They've run the most sets with 3 tight ends on the field. And there's nobody on this team that can catch the ball, really, outside of pretty much Jarvis Landry.
Which, I didn't even know all that information before I said Hooper. But the reason I did is because we do line up in multiple tight end formations, like you said. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize it was more than like any other team in the league.
Well, look at every other. When you watch any other game, how many times do you see more than one tight end on the field? You really don't.
Right.
Yeah, except for Bill Belichick, but he's Bill Belichick. So.
Except for that Monday night game where apparently everyone got really upset about because Mac Jones threw the ball 3 times.
Yeah, we will talk about that game later in the show. Don't you worry, my friend. But what I've noticed is it doesn't seem like Baker loves to throw to the wide receivers. It seems like he likes to throw the ball to the tight ends more.
Especially Njoku.
No.
Njoku is our leading yards, leads the team in yards, and is tied for leading touchdowns, which is completely pathetic, and that just shows you how bad the Browns' passing offense.
Okay, I stand corrected. I shouldn't have just
Well, most of that's because of one game where he had 170 yards, and he had another game with 70 receptions or 70 yards receiving. Every other game, he's got like 2 or 3 catches at most, and he's only had more than
10, 20 yards.
In 8 of the games, he's had 30 yards or less that he's played in, including a game where he had 0 targets, 0 receptions, 0 yards. So
I'd say Baker doesn't look comfortable throwing the ball just in general, regardless of who the target is.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one.
Say that, but I think it's true.
Well, a big, I guess, important thing to look at that is, I'm trying to put it the right way. One of the facets of the offense that has worked for Baker previously last year is design rollouts, bootlegs. Okay, we all know he is not good on non-play action plays. We all know he is not good on plays that are considered pure dropbacks. Okay, and I saw a stat earlier today. 2021 expected points added in pass in situations where there is no pressure, there's no play action, it is not a screen pass, and the pass comes from the middle of the pocket. Baker Mayfield ranks 26th among all quarterbacks in plays that are not play action, and he does not leave the pocket. That's a problem.
That really is.
Huge.
That just shows you how bad he is when teams force him to play left-handed. His left-handed is standing in the pocket. But as far as throwing to receivers, this offense isn't necessarily designed for the wide receiver position. That's just part of Kevin Stefanski's scheme. We saw it in Minnesota. Okay, a lot of Kyle Rudolph up in Minnesota when he was there. Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs were there, but they're utilized more after he left. And I would also say Kirk Cousins is a better version of Baker, even though he's not necessarily great. He's average to good.
And yet somehow the Vikings are in playoff contention.
Well, that's a completely different reason whatsoever. But looking at the receiver position, I mean, outside of Jarvis Landry, who are you going to feel comfortable throwing to on this team? It's nobody.
Yeah.
Donovan Peoples-Jones has the occasional big play or big game, but the one thing that he struggled to do in college, he still struggles to do in the NFL, and that's create separation. And when you have a quarterback like Baker, who is looking for college open, not NFL open, 2 completely different types of openness for a receiver, what you're going to have is him not throwing the ball to guys. He doesn't throw players open. He doesn't throw to guys who are NFL open. He's looking for the college open, which means nobody within 5 yards. NFL open's like 8 inches.
Yeah, I was just going to add on to that and say, would you guys agree that Baker had success with the college-style offense but struggles to play any type of professional quarterbacking?
I think part of the reason is because think about where he went to school and what coach he had. He went to Oklahoma, and he had Lincoln Riley. Oklahoma ran like an air raid style offense. Not too dissimilar to what Cliff Kingsbury is doing with Kyler at Arizona. So I think that allowed Baker to flourish. And for some reason, and the Browns have a tendency to do this, and it pisses me the heck off, is they draft a quarterback and they don't design the offense around what the quarterback's skill set is. I'll give you an example. When the Titans drafted Marcus Mariota, they didn't just say, okay, Marcus Mariota, here's the offense. We don't care what your skill set is. We're going to make you run our offense. What they did before he ran out of steam, because I know he did, but early on, he was having success because the Titans designed their offense to fit Marcus Mariota's strengths. Why the Browns can't seem to do that, I don't know. But if they had done that, they would have had success with some of their prior quarterbacks. Like, I saw promise in Colt McCoy when we drafted him out of Texas. But again, we did not design the offense to fit his skill set.
Well, to comment on the Mariota thing, the thing with him is that the offense he ran in Oregon, the offense they started running when he was drafted by Tennessee. It's a one read then run offense, okay? The problem with that type of offense is that teams figure it out real quick, okay? They cover the primary target, then they have a quarterback spy or a blitz. And that completely eliminates a player like Mariota. That's why they ran him out of town in Tennessee. That's why he's a backup in Vegas. There's a reason he's not a starter.
So
it's
you
not
don't think he
because
should come-
Tennessee didn't do something right. It's because everyone figured him out and he's not very good.
So we talked about this earlier before the show started. You don't think he should be our new quarterback?
No, absolutely not. That's a lateral move at best.
But do you get where I'm going with my overall point?
I understand where you're going, but there's a flaw in it, okay? And the flaw is that he played in the Big 12, okay? The Big 12 was notorious for having no defense, okay? And this goes back to what I said about him throwing guys that are college open.
And we're referring to Baker Mayfield, just so you know.
And the Big 12, everyone is college open. Watch his highlights. There's nobody within 20 yards of the people he's making on these highlight plays, okay? That's just not... You can't expect that in the NFL, okay? It's tight windows. He doesn't throw to tight windows, and when he does, he gets the pass gets deflected or intercepted. He's just not accurate enough to throw to tight windows.
So you're essentially saying that the Browns made a mistake in drafting Baker Mayfield to begin with.
That's where my standpoint is. I was always a Josh Allen guy because I believed that he aligned with the timeline of what they were doing. Because they blew everything up, and it was a slow progression, have everyone grow together.
I'll be honest, I wanted Darnold during that time.
I did too.
Oof.
Yeah, I wanted
Darnold. Oof at that point, but like when you
I was never a Darnold guy. Never. I looked at him, I'm like, that guy is the second coming of Mark Sanchez. And he just happened to get drafted by the Jets, which just made it better. But that dude's Mark Sanchez 2.0. He turns the ball over too much. He fumbles, he throws interceptions, he makes terrible decisions.
Would you say he's a bust?
Yes, Sam Darnold's a bust.
No, Josh Rosen's the true bust of that draft.
They're both busts. They're both terrible quarterbacks. Sam Darnold is so bad he got Joe Brady fired mid-season. That's how bad Sam Darnold is.
You wouldn't say Baker's a bust, though.
He's not a bust. He's fine. He's going to be a career backup when it's all said and done. He's going to have the same career that Colt McCoy currently is enjoying.
See,
he's going to be a backup. I think he'll just be like someone who's...
He'll be a quarterback on a losing football team or a backup on a mediocre team is what he'll be.
I think he could start for mediocre teams.
No, not for mediocre teams. Not for mediocre teams.
You don't think?
No.
Why?
He's not athletic enough. He's not athletic enough for his limited skill set to be productive and be a good quarterback.
He does some runs.
He's not athletic enough. Again, I repeat myself. He's not athletic enough for his limitations as a quarterback. He's too short. He can't read the field. He needs to get out of the pocket, but he can't.
And people are going to say, oh, he's a short quarterback. He should be succeeding like Russell Wilson.
How about Drew Brees?
No.
Drew Brees had elite footwork, jerk. You know what? Baker Mayfield doesn't have elite footwork.
And here's the other part you're forgetting. Who was Drew Brees' head coach?
Wasn't it It was Schottenheimer and Payton.
Sean Payton. Sean Payton is one of the best head coaches in NFL history. One of, not the best, because obviously that's Bill Belichick. But him and Drew Brees were like this. Drew Brees came to New Orleans because of Sean Payton. There you go.
Well, here's what I'll say on the whole, I guess, Drew Brees, and everyone likes to compare the two. They're not comparable. Drew Brees is head and shoulders better than Baker Mayfield will ever be, even when he was broken in San Diego. But we have to head to a commercial break. When we come back, we have more AFC football discussion.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to ditch the car and start rollerblading to work.
I look ridiculous.
You look ridiculous!
You don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your organs on the black market.
Lie back. This is gonna hurt.
Yeah, that hurts. You don't need to rent out your apartment to drifters.
I made a fire with the wood in your bedroom.
That's my dresser!
And your closet door.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Coats for Kids Cleveland has raised over $3.2 million and distributed over 500,000 coats in Northeast Ohio since opening in 1981. Our goal for 2013 is to obtain 25,000 new or gently used coats and raise $125,000 to purchase more coats. We need your help. Your gift of $100 will provide 6 new coats to children in need. Check out our website at coatsforkidscleveland.org for a list of collection locations or to make a donation. Coats for Kids Cleveland, helping to make every child feel warm this winter season.
So welcome. All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
We feel a lot like Rodney Dangerfield because Cleveland gets no respect. Oh well, welcome back to So What's the Catch?
And they don't get no respect because they don't deserve no respect, Kramer. Anyways.
So.
Yeah. They deserve respect.
All right. I can't even hear you, Shirk. My headphones.
You can't hear me?
He doesn't have his headphones.
No, I left them sitting in the computer lab last week, and much like my much maligned pen, it went missing. Everything goes missing around here for some reason. I think it's Josh.
Let's blame Josh.
Blame Josh.
No, I'm gonna blame my friend Adam.
Are you gonna blame Baker?
Yes.
It is Baker Mayfield.
It is Baker Mayfield.
Yes, we are going to blame Baker Mayfield, but we are going to stay with football, but we are going to expand out from the Browns, and we're going to expand out from the AFC North. And we're just going to talk about the AFC as a conference. So let's start with this. We should have written down who we picked to win each division, because although I think we were all pretty much on the same page when it came to who I think we all picked the Ravens. I think we all picked the Colts. I think I'm the only one that picked the Colts.
Yeah, I picked the Titans.
The big surprise for me has been the AFC East. I definitely had the Bills.
Yeah, I
had
think
the Bills as well. I think we all had the Bills.
Yeah, we all did. So that brings it to who's the most dangerous non-division leader? I'm going to say it's the Colts.
Are they not leading that division?
No, I think Tennessee is still leading that division.
The Colts are the team that are keeping us out of the playoffs right now.
How?
Yeah, so I would agree with Colts. They're probably the most dangerous non-division leader, maybe.
The most surprising.
No. I'm gonna go Bills still. Bills.
The most surprising for me has actually been the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins have actually won 5 in a row. We were going to talk about this later, but we can bring it up now.
I wrote them off. I was totally.
I thought they were dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just seeing them win 5, and Tua was out at the start of the season, right? Or am I wrong about that? He's been in this whole time.
I think Tua's been in this whole time. He's fine.
All right.
He's okay. I mean, he's not good.
Should we get Tua?
No.
Stop.
No. If you want a more rabid fan base than the Baker Mayfield stands, let me introduce you to Tuanon, because that's what it is. Okay?
Tuanon?
Yes.
Hey,
Tuanon.
Then we got
the
two
crazy Tua fans, which will come and attack you if you say something bad about Tua.
So would you say right now, let's get you attacked, would you say that it's either... it's not Tua's reason, or it's not because of Tua that they're having all this success?
No, it's not. Just like how the Browns had all the success last year, and it wasn't because of Baker Mayfield. Okay, Tua's a very limited quarterback, like Baker Mayfield. Tua can't throw those 15-yard outs that you need in the NFL. You can succeed without it, but it's really great to have a quarterback that can do that.
Some people say Jalen Waddle's is more the reason why Tua's doing so good.
Well,
Tua's succeeding because everyone else is succeeding. Okay, it's not because he put the team on his back and is carrying them. Everyone else is actually playing up to the level that they're supposed to, like this entire time, and he is, I guess, reaping the benefits of it.
You want to know why the Dolphins beat the Ravens on that Thursday night football game? It's because of their defense and their defensive scheme of all-out blitzing Lamar, and the Ravens just, for some reason, refused to adjust their game plan to match what the Dolphins were doing. And now teams are saying, oh, that's how you defend Lamar. And pretty much everybody has copied it to a T.
You know, I can really only think of like 2 quarterbacks who I can 100% say that you could probably put on any team and they could carry that team. And I'm thinking Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. And you could make arguments for a few others, but
I'd say Mahomes.
Even he, though, like, I mean, he's had some success this year, even when the team hasn't, I guess. But he's been proven not infallible.
I would say Mahomes is a little bit of a product of the system he's in with Kansas City.
Well, I like what you were saying, though, a little bit. I think he's on the way to becoming an Aaron Rodgers or a...
I would still put him in that category, but that's just me.
For me, and again, it's you know, different opinions are fine, but I'm just saying for me, I see him more on the way to that. He's the only one who I would even put in that position. Outside of that, like, because you could say Lamar. This is where my mind was going. You could say Lamar, but really, Lamar, they've kind of figured him out. I mean, he can still be trouble, but he's not in that same level to me.
Right. I feel like Lamar has to rely on his run game to really be effective as a runner. Because, yeah, he can pass the ball, but at the same time, it's like he's not all the way there as a passer, if you get what I mean.
I know what you mean. Anytime I've seen him have like really good games, it's always been on his feet.
Right.
I mean, he's been a better thrower this year, though.
I mean, you are aware he is throwing it for a career high 260 yards per game this year.
But he's also been throwing it more this year than he ever has.
I'm just saying, in my overall assessment of him, I'm not basing it off of strictly this season. He's always been more of a runner than he is a passer.
Well, yes, of course, but he has improved. He has improved in the passing department.
I'll give you that.
My point was more that he needs the run game to get the pass game going.
Correct.
Of course, he does, because that's the part of that makes him different. That's what makes him a headache to try and game plan for, is because he can do so much with his legs.
And if you can shut him down there,
even on plays where he actually throws the ball with his legs, he makes huge plays.
True, getting out of the pocket, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can shut down his run, I don't feel like he can use throwing, get it in the air and get it done all just in the air. We're talking about Lamar Jackson, by the way, Zach.
But
I figured that out.
Yeah. So, would you say? I'm surprised. We all kind of said the Dolphins. Well, I said the Colts, but you guys both said the Dolphins were the most.
I said the Bills.
Yeah, he said the Bills. All I said really was that they were the most surprising team to me. Your question was,
who's the most dangerous non-division leader in the AFC?
Oh man, let me look again, because I'm still not sure about the Bills.
I can't trust the Bills like I want to. I want to trust the Bills, but here's the problem. They're so kind of like how the Ravens are dependent on Lamar Jackson and his ability to make plays, whether it's on schedule or whatever, or off schedule, whatever. It's the same. I feel the same way with Buffalo. They are so reliant on Josh Allen, whether it's in the passing game, the run game. That just doesn't seem like a formula they can sustain. Whereas with Indy, yeah, Carson Wentz hasn't played great all season long. I know you don't love Carson Wentz.
No, not really.
But he's been somewhat reliable for them this season. And they have Jonathan Taylor, who I think he should win MVP, but he's not going to. It's going to be Tom Brady, so I'm not even going to try and refute.
John Taylor's the top 5. You know that, right?
Oh, I completely disagree with you.
First of all, it's a quarterback award, number 1.
Which is stupid.
Sorry, that's just how it works. You don't because you're quarterback, okay? So it's going to be Tom Brady. If it's not him, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. Keep going. Quarterbacks.
It's stupid, but
that's how this works.
And thinking about what your actual question was, I'd have to say probably the Bills as well.
So, would you agree that it's the Bills? Or are you going to go somebody else, Zach?
I would say that the Bills is a good pick, but I'm going to actually take the Steelers. And the reason why is not because they are the best team on paper, but just because Pittsburgh has been a nightmare for myself and Browns fans, really, our entire lives, at least for our generation. And I'm always worried about the Steelers and what they can or cannot do against the Browns.
Okay. Chirk, what about you? Who do you think is the most dangerous non-division leader in the AFC?
The Colts.
Okay.
Okay. I just think teams that are dependent on running the ball with a running back have a harder time actually making it through the playoffs than teams that have good quarterbacks and have a quarterback that can make plays with his legs.
Except what's better suited to be effective in a bad weather game, and what's more effective to travel when you go on the road? Somebody with a good quarterback or an effective run game? I would say a run game.
So, all right. Riddle me this, Batman. Where do the Colts play?
They play in Lucas Oil Stadium.
A dome. Where do the Chargers play?
They play in a dome.
A dome. Okay, and where do the Bills play?
Outside.
They play outside. They actually practice outside. Those other teams practice in domes.
That was meant to.
Oh, you're adding sound effects now. I like it.
All right.
Okay, so those teams play and practice in domes. The Bills actually play and practice outside. I don't know what that was.
I prefer mine.
Yes, we all do.
So that's just what I'm saying. When it comes to the whole bad weather thing, the Bills actually play all their games outside at home.
Yeah, and I know.
Who gave him the see and say back?
I didn't know we were all 5 years old and probably one.
Okay, that's the next question we got. Most dangerous division leader?
Yes.
Okay, that's easy.
It's the Patriots.
It is the Patriots. You know why? Bill Belichick got his quarterback back.
Yes, he did.
Because you know what they look like? They look like that first Patriots team that won the Super Bowl and won.
They do. You are correct.
And they won a game where they threw the ball 3 times.
Yep. And people are going to be like, why'd you only throw the ball 3 times?
Because Bill Belichick is a genius. That's why.
Yes. Did you not see the weather forecast in Buffalo? 50-mile-per-hour winds. You really think they're going to throw the ball in that weather? No. And people are going to spin it and be like, that shows that Bill doesn't trust Mac Jones. No, it doesn't. It's just, we're not going to throw the ball this game.
It's paying proper attention to the elements that are going to impact your team's performance. He knew it was going to be better for his team to just out-physical and run over the Bills' defense than trying to drop back and pass in that type of situation.
The Pats have a lot of momentum right now, and we're up against a break. But I would just say the Chiefs have been definitely. They seem like they're back to.
Oh, they seem to be clicking on fire all cylinders again.
Offense, wait and see. But Chirk, take us to commercial land.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for 75 years, he's only said,
Only you can prevent wildfires.
but there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So be careful out there. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the AdComs.
Are you tired of renting, but the idea of owning a home seems unattainable? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency is here to help you realize the dream of home ownership with its 30-year fixed-rate mortgage loans, low interest rates, down payment assistance, and homebuyer education designed to prepare you for your journey to home ownership. Visit ohiohome.org or call 888-362-6432 to learn more. That's 888-362-6432. This message is brought to you by the Ohio Housing Finance Agency and aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
You don't have to wait for politicians to make Ohio a safer place for your kids. You don't have to wait for anybody. All you have to do is keep your eyes open and remember that bad railroad crossings kill good drivers. When you see a dangerous crossing or crossing signals that aren't working, go to angelsontrack.org and report it. So far, 28 dangerous crossings have had gates installed because of those reports, making Ohio a safer place for kids like yours. Sponsored by Angels on Track, aired by the OAB and this station.
6, 5, 4.
I knew something had to give. I was overweight, I didn't exercise, and my doctor told me I would most likely develop diabetes if something didn't change. Fortunately, I joined a program that helped me make healthier choices, like eating better and being more active. The YMCA's Diabetes Prevention Program was a wake-up call that really changed my life.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention predict that 1 in 3 Americans could have diabetes by the year 2050. The WISE 12-month lifestyle modification program is part of the CDC's National Diabetes Prevention Program, where the goal is to prevent the onset of type 2 diabetes. For those who qualify, the program is covered through United Healthcare and Medicare. To find where the program is available in Ohio, visit ymca.net/diabetes. Take control of your health. This message sponsored by the Ohio Department of Health, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Hey, it's Chirk the Berserker. You're in the Berserk box being a hard worker. We got James. Guess what? He knows all the names. Just sit back and relax. You got Unger to the max. This show will never get any lamer, because you can't find anybody as entertaining as Kramer. Now, AJ, he is the true fighter. You'll never meet anybody who is a better writer. In this show, you don't have to worry about Ryan, because we got a champ, and his name is Brian. Join us every Wednesday at 2 for authentic personalities, because you know, all we'll just be dishing out is just the realities.
Welcome back to So What's the Catch here on All Sports Cleveland. We're trying to decide What? Alright. We're trying to decide the meaning of the Vanilla Chinchilla's bumper that just played and whether he's trying to be nice about it or if he's throwing out insults. We're not sure.
Our mistake is probably even like trying to dive this deep in anything.
Yeah, true.
Vanilla Chinchilla, I just went with what was on my head at that.
We love riddling you over there, Chirk. You know that, buddy.
And also, it is a 45-second intro.
Okay. Anyway, so we are going to talk Cleveland Cavaliers, but quick, before we get full on Cavaliers, we are going to talk a little. I'm going to give you an update for their G League affiliate.
Is that where Tacos played?
Yes, that's where Taco plays. The Cleveland Charge, who play at the Wolstein Center. I've actually been to one of their games. It is a lot of fun. Apparently, according to their mascot, I'm a Charge superfan. Whatever. But right now, they are 6-4, which is good enough for 4th place in the Central Division. And that's it for the Cleveland Charge update. And
what are Taco stats?
I don't know. But anyway, let's talk Cavs. Your favorite subject, James.
What about the Cavs? They're okay.
Yeah.
Laurie's doing better.
They're okay. They're fine.
And Laurie's doing better.
He's still shooting a career worst from deep. You know that, right?
I mean, he's always been doing that.
They finally ended their 20-game losing streak in Miami. So that's huge.
I still can't believe that happened.
Yeah, I know. But they're 13-12. If I would have told you before the season started, given how the roster is constructed, that at this point in the season the Cavs would be 13-12, what would your reaction have been?
I would have been surprised, but that's mostly because I would have expected that Colin Sexton would be playing, and the fact that he's not has made this team better.
I'll give you that.
But looking at their record last year, I mean, they're in that same ballpark just by a couple games, so it's not really like they're so much better than what they were last year. They're still around that same kind of around 500 before a huge losing streak.
So you're predicting a huge losing streak?
I think they'll be up against it. Honestly, I just don't see a lot of what they do being sustainable. They're still like they think the second or third lowest scoring offense in the Eastern Conference.
You think they could be a 10th seed?
No.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, just to add on to that, if you're a lower seed in the NBA, does it really matter? I mean, you're going to get eliminated anyway, like first round, and that's the problem with the NBA is you really got to be one of the top teams to be even competitive.
That's true. I'll give you that. But by the same token, I will say this. It's surprising to me that the way we're playing is actually working because aside from like what Milwaukee did last year when they won the title, the league has mostly gone to small ball and positionless basketball and all that.
Well, they're still positionless. There's big guys.
Okay, but for the most part, the Cavs have more defined positions on their team, and they're going in the complete opposite direction of small ball, where they're going 3 7-footers in the starting lineup, and I think Okoro and Garland are only like maybe 6 foot at most. So for that to be
6'5".
Say that again?
I think Okoro's like 6'5".
Okay, so he's on the shorter end overall, is my point.
Isaac Okoro is 6'5".
He's like
Darius
a
Garland, I think, is like
a wing.
6'3". 6'1", I'm sorry.
Okay, so they're both on the smaller end, I would say. 6'5" is about average, I would say, for the NBA. Would you agree with that? 6'5"?
For his position, he's about the right size for his position. That's small forward, okay?
Yeah.
Probably a little bit on the...
He's a swing man, isn't he? He's like a shooting guard slash...
Yeah, he's having to play shooting guard right now because...
Shooting guard necessity. He's really just a small forward.
Yeah. So, here's my problem with Okoro. Is, yeah, he's been good defensively, but...
He's a black hole offensively as well.
Exactly. His offense, it's like... Garland needs help in that backcourt. He can't be the only one carrying that part of the team. Because the front half, the front court, seems to be, for the most part, solid.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I don't think what they have is sustainable, is because it's Garland and it's Ricky Rubio. Again, Ricky Rubio I don't think is going to be here past the trade deadline.
I completely disagree with you on that one.
I don't think they're going to be really in the mix, to be honest with you. And I don't think Ricky Rubio is going to be here. I think this would be someone that you look to trade and get something for the future for. But you look at the other guards on this team, I don't know who they are. I literally do not know who they are, okay? Kevin Pangos, Dylan Windler, I mean, those aren't guys that you're going to be like, yes, this guy, I want to see him play more. They set Dylan Windler down to the charge because he can't get minutes on a team over guys like Denzel Valentine and Chetty Osman, okay? That just tells you how bad Dylan Windler is.
I think Chetty Osman's pretty good off the bench.
Osman is not very good.
He has spurts. He has spurts where he can be good, but then he has stretches of games where it's just like, are you going to do anything, Chetty Osman? Are you going to score the ball at all?
I think what the Cavs need is just a little bit of
Taco?
Real D Wade.
Wade is out tonight, my friend.
Yes, he is injured.
D Wade is out?
I believe he is out.
Yes, he is.
So there's a number here that concerns me in the sustainability department, okay? Because the Cavs record, they're 5-7 at home, okay?
They'll be 6-7 after tonight.
They'll be 5-8, but they're 8-5 on the road, okay? Are you gonna tell me this team is better than the Heat on the road or the Sixers? They're going to be up in the same range as the Bulls and the Nets.
I never said, just to be clear, I am saying to you right now, yes, the Cleveland Cavaliers will make the playoffs, but I am not saying they will be in the upper echelon. I'm just saying they will make, I'm going to keep my statement general. They will make the playoffs. That's it.
I think the real number you look at is the record. Do you look at the record at home and you look at the record away? That away number, we know what this Cavs team is. They're not good. They're playing above what they actually are right now. Okay? And that away record is going to drop off big time as the season goes on. Again, the real time to pay attention to what teams are doing is not until after Christmas. And the only time to really pay attention to where they are in the standings is after the All-Star break. Okay?
Which, you know where the All-Star break is?
Here in Cleveland.
It's here.
That means we're going to win the finals.
That doesn't mean anything.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far, Chirk.
The away record is concerning because that's not sustainable for this team. It's not.
Whatever, but...
No, whatever.
Yes, I will whatever you. You're just being a Cavs hater.
I'm not being a Cavs hater.
Yes, you are.
I'm being a
yes, you are.
Realist.
No, you're not.
This team really isn't that good. You know that, right? They have the third worst scoring offense in the conference.
Man, you're being a Cavs hater.
Yes, he is. Chirk, I'm with you on this one. I'm with you on this one. I have bought into this team.
Yeah, I'm buying into this team too, and especially if they win against.
He took zero convincing to buy into this team.
Chirk buys into everything. You can't use that as proof.
Beat the Bulls, who are second in the East tonight, I think they'd really have a chance.
Here's the only thing about if we beat the Bulls tonight. They are without Alex Caruso. They're without Javonte Green. They're without Patrick Williams. They're without Kobe White. They're without DeMar DeRozan. So they're going to be shorthanded. So if let's say we win tonight, I will be excited about it. I think it will show me something, but it wouldn't be as impressive of a win if they beat the Bulls at full strength. Make sense?
No. Nothing you say makes sense to me, Josh.
You get what I'm saying, Chirk?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would have been more impressive if they beat the champs.
Oh yeah, and listen, for them to be in the game that they were in against Utah, where they were down 15, came all the way back, and only lose by 1, and then on the very next night, pushed the defending NBA champions on their home court to pretty much the limit. There's no such thing as moral victories, but I will take that. Because I bet you Cavs teams in the past would have lost.
I think if we had Taco, he would have been able to clog the lane.
And I just have to point out, that's the person that you're agreeing with.
Yes. If we had Taco, he would have clogged the lane so Giannis wouldn't go through.
I love you, Chirk, but the person who completely ruined all credibility with 4 words. Super Bowl, Super Browns.
And what's the other one? Taco Fall?
You know we love you, Chirk. We love you. It's just fun to give you crap.
But James, if Taco was in there, do you think it would have helped them win?
If Taco, the only reason Taco goes in is if they're up by 20 or down by 20. He is the modern Darko Milicic, the human victory cigar or human surrender flag.
He's not Darko. He wasn't even drafted.
That's true.
It's just the role, not how he was a bust. It's the role. He goes in when they're winning by a ton or losing by a ton. He's there to eat up minutes because you don't want your good players to get hurt.
Hey, he would help clog the lane for Giannis. How would Giannis get through Taco?
Okay, if Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and everyone else they have can't stop Giannis, what the hell do you think Taco's gonna do?
He's 7'5".
So what?
Have you seen him run?
He can't.
He looks like a baby giraffe. He can't run, okay? He can't run.
I love it.
He's just...
He'll fall instead of run, like Taco.
He's not good, man. Taco's not good. I don't know why they would even entertain having him on the...
Do you think he even needs to be in these airwaves right now, his name?
No, I don't know why. The only reason we're talking about him is because of you. If you weren't here, Taco's name would never come up on this show. But here we are. And with that, we have to go to a break, and we come back, it's hour 2, and I don't know how we're going to get weirder than this.
It's already getting weird.
We dedicated 5 minutes to Taco Fall.
You don't have to wait for politicians to make Ohio a safer place for your kids. You don't have to wait for anybody. All you have to do is keep your eyes open and remember that bad railroad crossings kill good drivers. When you see a dangerous crossing or crossing signals that aren't working, go to angelsontrack.org and report it. So far, 28 dangerous crossings have had gates installed because of those reports, making Ohio a safer place for kids like yours. Sponsored by Angels on Track, aired by the OAB and this station.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Here's farmer and landowner John Prue.
We purchased the land about 3 years ago, and there was an old farmstead on there with trees. We were going to clear the land so we could farm through it. We thought we knew where the pipe was, so we didn't call to get it located. The work on our property led to the damage of a light crude pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety Campaign.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how, and we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids need to know the dangers and how to avoid them. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids, because when you talk, they hear you.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. Parents are the #1 influence on their child's decision to not drink alcohol. Talk, they hear you. For tips and other resources on having a conversation, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
You might know me, I'm 50 Cent. You may follow my tweets, my Facebook friends. Odds are fewer than 6 degrees separate us. We're that close. What's crazy is 1 in 6 don't know where their next meal is coming from. These are your co-workers, your neighbors, your friends. Hunger's too close for us to ignore. So visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank to see how you can make a difference. From one close friend to another, let's do this. I'm 50 Cent, and together we are Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hour 2 on So What's the Catch is when things get weird. Here on All Sports Cleveland. Like I said at the end of that last segment, I don't know how we're going to get weirder than spending 5 minutes talking about Taco Fall, but we're going to give it a try. So What's the Catch here on All Sports Cleveland.
What are we supposed to be talking about?
College football playoff
Cincinnati
rankings.
went in it.
Okay.
You got to admit, you were surprised.
When the way things played out, I was not surprised that Cincinnati got in, but I will...
You didn't think they were going to go in.
Well, I'll get to that in a second. Hold on. You're rushing me. Don't rush me. Top 4 is Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, Cincinnati. The teams that are on the outside of the top 10. Notre Dame is a 5, Ohio State is 6, Baylor 7, Ole Miss 8, Oklahoma State 9, Michigan State 10.
How weird is it that Cincinnati's on that list? Does it just feel out of place?
It does feel out of place because I don't think they deserve to be in still.
If they win this, what would you do?
They're not going to win, so it doesn't matter. I'm not worried.
You know, it goes back to what you were saying last week, though, that no matter what, no matter which side you're on, now they have the chance.
They have a chance now, and I think it's, by the way, kind of curious, kind of interesting that the moment that Cincinnati gets into the playoff, expansion talks completely disintegrate. Because you know what the expansion talks about the college football playoff were based upon? Teams like Cincinnati getting in.
True.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's kind of weird how that happened. Cincinnati gets in, and all of a sudden, 4's good enough.
I'm withholding.
What was that?
What's that going to do to the ratings?
More games would make it worse. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You dilute the product.
I'm withholding judgment on Cincinnati until I see them play this game.
I mean, they're a 13.5-point underdog against Alabama.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure they're going to lose. I'm sure they're going to lose. Let me
Bama and the over.
Let me reiterate this. I'm sure they're going to lose, but if they play competitively, that still, I feel like, speaks bounds for them.
So here's why I have concern for Cincinnati and how watchable this game will be, is that Alabama put the boots to Georgia, and everyone thought Georgia was this dominant, unstoppable defense, and they looked like crap. Okay? Alabama just went like, hey, we're still Bama, and Georgia, you're still Georgia. Okay? And Cincinnati ain't no Georgia.
I bet money, and I would put my money on this, that Georgia-Bama play for the championship.
Yep.
And Georgia wins.
I don't think Georgia wins. I think Alabama.
See, I knew that's where we differ, but I got Georgia winning.
I don't want to see Alabama, Georgia in the championship again.
Well, I got bad news for you. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Nope.
No, it's gonna be Alabama against
Michigan.
Nah, against
Cincinnati's the first game. You can't be Alabama, Cincinnati. You can't play each other twice.
Well, I think, what would you do, James, if Cincinnati won the whole thing? What would you do? I know you keep saying it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, so I'm not worried.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
I'm not going to worry about it. Cincinnati's got to win.
All right,
You're going to worry about it once they get in there.
What you got over there, Zach?
Well, just think about this scenario. Let's say you're an executive for college football and you're thinking about this scenario. Basically, nobody thinks Cincinnati is going to win. So if that's the case, how will it affect their ratings and their financial standpoint of, we got this team that's a huge underdog and no one thinks they're going to win, so they may tune out and just look the other way, compared to if it were a team like Ohio State that was in the ratings and whatnot would be a lot higher, I feel.
Well, the good thing for them from this standpoint is this is the 3:30 game, so they're not going to be going up against any of the New Year's crap later in the night.
True.
They're not going to lose viewership, not going to lose eyes on it because, this game's a blowout. I'm going to go watch New Year's Rockin' Eve on whatever channel that is, or whatever New Year's show that you prefer to watch.
You make a good point, and because of that, I'm not sure that the ratings are going to be affected all that much.
Yeah.
Because it's at 3:30. So what else are you going to watch at 3:30?
There's nothing else to watch. It's a football game. People, just for that game, you're going to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, the better game is the night game, and that's at 7, and that's Michigan and Georgia.
Now, do you keep it on all 4 quarters? That's a whole different question.
Oh no, that's going to be prime nap time for me. Is the Alabama Cincinnati game, unless I just take victory laps on Twitter the entire time, which is also very possible.
Well, if Cincinnati scored the first touchdown.
Well, they score the first touchdown, then Alabama rattles off 10 in a row. I mean, it's going to be a blowout.
I think it's funny that
explain why you think it's going to be a blowout.
I think it's funny that Cincinnati's
Bama versus Cincy. Period. End of sentence.
And because you're talking down on Cincy, they got more motivation.
I'm sure they're listening to me right now.
100%.
We had a peak of 4 listeners.
Oh, we've had a peak of 4 listeners. Ooh, show high right there.
Yes.
4.
I think we had 7.
We had like 6 one time.
But anyways, Cincinnati, I don't think they're in the same class. Okay, Alabama's got 4- and 5-star recruits across the board on both sides of the ball. Cincinnati's got 3 stars, maybe
listening.
A couple 4s.
I think they're listening right now.
I'm sure Cincinnati's listening to me. Luke Fickell, great job. The quarterback, I forget your name.
Jasmine Ritter.
There we go. Good job. Excellent. The guy, Kobe Bryant, I know him. The defensive back for the Bearcats, I know him. Good work.
You got to think Fickell's gone after this year, right? He's going to a better job.
Maybe.
I feel like he's going to try.
I don't know. He might.
He was rumored as someone who was interviewed with the Lions last year, so his eyes could be on the NFL, not college.
I mean, either or, but what I'm saying is he's not going to be coaching Cincinnati next year, I don't think.
We'll have to wait and see, but I think part of the reason I'm picking Michigan is, A, because I have family connections, so I'm not going to go against family there. B,
would you consider yourself an Ohio State fan?
Nope.
Okay. Because if you are and you're rooting for Michigan, I can't allow that.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not at all.
I feel like you kind of rode the Ohio State bandwagons at time, but I'll let that go.
When I was a kid, only because my dad made me. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, this is going to be an interesting game between Georgia and Michigan. I don't think it's going to be high scoring at all. I think it's going to be like a 20-17 type game. And I think it's going to be Michigan's run game that makes the difference.
I think Georgia's defense is too good, honestly. I really do. Because there's a huge difference in offensive capability between a team like Bama and a team like Michigan. Okay? And, yeah, Michigan was physical and they out-physicaled Ohio State, sure. But they're not going to out-physical Georgia. Just not going to happen.
Alabama was in such a, for them they knew it was win or you're done. And they were motivated to win that game. That was the best you're going to see Alabama play this year in that game. I don't think you're going to see it again.
What if they get to the championship, though?
Yeah, I still don't think you're going to see it again. That's why I see Georgia beating them.
Wait, what?
He thinks Georgia beats Michigan, or Georgia beats.
Now I follow what you're saying.
How would it be if Cincy beat Michigan?
What?
I would laugh, honestly. If Cincinnati,
That would be the most bizarre.
If Cincinnati beat Michigan, or they met in the national title game, I'd be rooting for Cincinnati, not just because I dislike Michigan, because it would be absolutely hilarious to see Michigan lose to a team that's not a Power 5 school.
Well, what do you think Harborough would say?
I mean, he'd probably throw his headset on the ground, throw a temper tantrum. Usual.
The usual.
Yeah, the usual.
On the ground, he said?
Yeah, I mean, he's broken his headset multiple times.
So, you guys are opposed to an expansion of any type with the playoff because of what we saw with Cincinnati?
Well, I think that's what these guys are thinking.
I want an expansion. I just don't want a big expansion.
Yeah.
I don't want an expansion. I think 4 is fine because you got to think you got to get to the best of the best, the elite of the elite. The bigger, I guess, pool of teams you're pulling from, you're getting teams that aren't there, and they're not in the top 4 for a reason, okay? Because they have an obvious flaw in one or more capacities, one more areas, okay?
That's definitely fair enough.
So you look at teams like, Ohio State, they didn't make it in, okay? Their defense just not good enough. Notre Dame didn't get in. I don't disagree. I don't agree for one of the reasons why they got dinged for not getting in, which is the fact that Brian Kelly left them. I think if Brian Kelly didn't leave, they would have got in over Cincinnati. Okay, but you look at some of these other teams, you're just passing the buck from the conversation about teams at 5 and 6 down to teams 9 and 10 if you make it 8. And if you make it 12, you're talking about teams 13 and 14. You're just changing the conversation to talk about, this team should be in because X. And I'm not here for it.
So let me ask you this. When March Madness comes around, do you get excited about March Madness?
This isn't basketball.
But
yes, just to answer your question, yes.
Okay. And you have no idea who's going to upset who.
They play triple the games than football teams do.
Okay, but still, having more teams makes it more fun.
For basketball, sure, because they play so many games. With football, if you add more games, it makes each game less important.
No.
Yes, it does. It would. You know why? Because Baylor would be in and Ole Miss would be in if it was an 18 playoff right now.
And who knows?
Are those teams national title contenders? No, they're not.
Based off what?
Based off of their 7 and 8 in the rankings. That's why.
This is where you can agree to disagree too, but for me, I still say, because I'm in the middle, I think 8 is a good number. You stop it there. Just because I think anytime I've looked at these rankings, some of these 5 and 6 teams have been better than maybe the people thought they were.
I'm not saying that. I'm obviously not advocating that college football should expand to a 64-team bracket.
Of course not.
Like what March Madness does. I'm just saying that with the amount of games that March Madness does,
so what's the number? What do you think the number is?
Well, here's the issue. If you do expand it to 8, then teams 9 and 10, like we were saying, are going to be the argument.
I do
and
hear
then
that.
if you expand it to 12 teams 13 and 14, et cetera, et cetera.
You're kicking the can down.
I hear it, but I disagree because the top 8 teams I still feel are so different. When you look at the top 4, sometimes you'll have, like we do now, Ohio State in the top 5, but I don't think you're going to see those teams slide all the way down to a 9 or 10. So just for me, I feel like top 8 is a good number. Again, agree to disagree, that's fine. But for me, that's just what I've always thought.
I'll put out a number. How about 10?
That doesn't work.
Why not?
We're gonna go to commercial. Think about it. When we come back,
do some math.
You'll be able to figure out why it doesn't. Trek, we gotta head to a break.
The American Red Cross has been making an impact in communities since 1881. And with your help, we can continue to make a difference in yours. The American Red Cross depends on volunteers like you to carry on our humanitarian mission. Whether it's volunteering through your time, blood, expertise, or monetary means, you can help carry on our tradition. Take time to visit us at redcross.org and find out how you can make an impact.
When snowmobiling in an avalanche terrain, make sure everyone has an avalanche beacon, shovel, and probe on their person and knows how to use them. Get training by taking an avalanche course and check the daily avalanche forecast at avalanche.org. Always be aware of local conditions. If you see recent avalanche activity, go ride elsewhere. Most importantly, only one at a time on the slopes, and don't group up in run-out zones. Brought to you by the American Council of Snowmobile Associations and the Federal Highway Administration.
Did you know that generic drugs are just as safe and effective as brand name drugs? Generics might look different, but they work the same way. And they can even save you money. Don't believe me? Ask your doctor or pharmacist. Or visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
Bad theater seats, cheap Halloween masks, my apartment, all things with obstructed views. Add to these large trucks and buses. 18-wheelers and large buses have big blind spots, and like my apartment, they don't always have the best view. Bus and truck drivers deal with blind spots around the entire vehicle. Always take care not to ride alongside or too close behind them. Our roads, our safety. Learn more at sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Right now, nearly 30% of U.S. students aren't finishing high school. In many places, it's even higher than that. And fixing it is a responsibility that we all share. This is President Obama, and I urge everyone to take responsibility for encouraging the high school students in your communities, to support them, challenge them, and do whatever it takes to help them make it through.
Do your part by going to boostup.org and giving a student the boost that's needed to make it to graduation. A message from the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
You and your family are connected by routine, and you stick to it. But what if a disaster strikes without warning? What if your day's routine is disrupted and you can't reach your family? Have you planned for that?
Chirk has us all just wanting to rhyme. So turn up the dial, cause it's sports talk time. So What's the Catch is back in 3, 2, now.
We are back here on So What's the Catch, all sports Cleveland. And
With
like Kramer
feedback.
said, 3, 2, now. And Josh, would you like to let everyone know what you figured out during the break in regards to how 10 teams wouldn't work?
Yeah, 10 teams doesn't work. Flat out. Because it would be 5 teams. Math and I aren't always friends, so. Yeah.
All right. So, let's see. What do you got highlighted here? Oh, Chargers-Bengals.
Yeah.
What were your takeaways from that game?
That the Bengals should have won that game if it weren't for some self-inflicted wounds.
Bengals gonna bungle. That's what
And
it is.
losing helps us.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I'm not sure
that
that
much.
helps
It
us.
doesn't really help.
Yeah.
Could the Browns win it if the Bengals lose all their games and the Ravens lose all their games?
How about the Steelers?
Yeah, and the Steelers
let's
lose
just
all.
make it like that way.
Yeah.
Then maybe.
I think some of those guys play each other, but yeah, they both lose somehow.
Yeah. Yeah,
They
yeah.
get a tie.
Make a tie.
A tie would actually be bad for the Browns, honestly.
Yeah, that's how the Steelers are ahead of us in the standing just because of that tie.
If they all tied every single game, it would be bad news for the Browns.
But, yeah, I think the Chargers are actually legit.
The Chargers are the Chargers still. It doesn't matter who's running the show, who the quarterback is. They're still the Chargers. They're just a team that's like, oh, they're fun. And it's like, wow, they are really doing it again. They're going to Charger, and it's not good.
Are they going to the Super Bowl?
No. No, I'm not ready to say the Chargers are going to the Super Bowl. They're still the Chiefs. They're still the Patriots.
They're still the Browns.
No.
Stop bringing up the Browns, man.
No, the Browns are not going to the Super Bowl. They're done. They're done. But I want to talk more about this Patriots-Bills game because that was a more interesting game.
You know, Bill Belichick gave everyone a clue beforehand of how that game was going to go, right? You had to pay very close attention.
I must have missed it then.
You did. He was wearing a Navy mask.
What does that have to do with it?
What is Navy's offense?
Oh, that triple...
It's that triple option crap where all they do is just run the ball 1,000 times. He gave everyone a heads up and everyone missed it.
But for Mac Jones to only throw the ball 3 times and they still win.
It's not surprising. I mean, the way the weather was, I kind of knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know what the Bills were thinking. Yeah, let's throw it more than we pass it. Makes no sense.
That kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier, though. The Bills, they rely on Josh Allen.
Yeah, too much. Their running backs are Devin Singletary and Zach Moss.
I mean, those guys are okay. I would rather have the Patriots running backs than those two. I mean, that's part of the reason why their game plans were so drastically different.
Oh, I know.
The Patriots have a better running game than the Bills do.
I'm just saying in general.
Who do you think is the better quarterback if you take everything else away and just strip it down to just Mac Jones versus Josh Allen?
It's still Josh Allen, but Mac Jones is definitely closing the gap.
Yeah, I would agree that it's, for now, Josh Allen, but I think Mac Jones is going to pass him.
I'm not sure about that, but I think he could settle in kind of below him, but I still think Josh Allen's going to be the superior quarterback when it's all said and done.
The reason I'm saying Mac Jones is going to pass Josh Allen is because, he's got Josh McDaniels as his offensive coordinator. He's got Bill Belichick as the head coach.
For now, who knows how long both those guys are still there?
Who knows how long
Josh McDaniels almost had the job here a couple years ago. Okay? Bill Belichick has been rumored to be, retiring in a couple years for the past decade. Who knows how long he's going to continue coaching? Josh McDaniels could either take over as the coach in New England or find somewhere else to go if he's not happy with the timeline going on there with the Patriots. So he could go find some new coaching job somewhere else. Again, he was almost the guy here.
He had a handshake agreement with the Colts, pretty much, or not a handshake. It was like a.
He was going to be their coach, then he left and decided against it and stayed in New England,
which has proven to be the right decision, I would say.
It was the right decision to stay in New England. I mean, he won another Super Bowl, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
What I find interesting is how everyone is regarding Bill Belichick as this god figure for just running the ball a bunch of times when it was so windy and the weather conditions were absolutely horrible. I think that's just the logical thing to do, and luckily for Belichick and company, they were able to sustain the run and win the game by doing that. As the saying goes, the players play, and I just wanted your thoughts on that.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you keep it simple, running the ball in those conditions, sure, it's the structure of the plays, the structure of the concepts, the way they were running the ball in particular, and the way that they had their formation set up, which make it different from just slamming the ball up the middle like people do in Madden so much out of I formation.
I think the part of the reason too that Bill Belichick, and you've mentioned this before, has become a big talk of the news the past couple weeks is that the storyline for so long was that he only had the success he had because of Tom Brady, and now he's proving that's not true.
I mean, for what it's worth, I always thought he proved it was not true beforehand with all of the success of the defensive coordinator, for the Giants.
Well,
and
didn't Bill Belichick have success with the team here?
He did have success with the team here. Then Art Modell decided to be a scumbag, but that's a completely different story. But he was also
which are the Ravens.
What was that?
Which are the Ravens today?
Yeah. He was a very good and successful defensive coordinator under Bill Parcells for a very long time. He won Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator before he went to New England, became a head coach, won him as a head coach.
I found out Bill Belichick was on the Patriots for a stint and then left and came back. He was their defensive coordinator when Bill Parcells was the...
He might have had a little bit of overlap there.
Yeah, he might have.
It's a fun fact. Looking it up.
I am looking it up.
But either way, let's say the Patriots somehow, some way go on to win the Super Bowl. Does that say more about Bill Belichick, or does it say more about Tom Brady?
I'd say Bill Belichick.
It's Belichick. Tom Brady's out of the equation.
Agreed.
Tom Brady already won a Super Bowl in Tampa. So his part of the story's already written. You already know what he's still successful, he's still good without Belichick. It'd be a Belichick thing. Yeah, Belichick was a assistant head coach and DB's coach in '96 for the Patriots before going to the Jets for 2 years, then bailing on them after being their coach for all of a day.
Yeah, I enjoyed that little story. But yeah, I agree. It would say more about Belichick because he's doing it on his own. And he can... I feel like Tom Brady wrote his part of the story by winning the Super Bowl. I feel like Belichick still hasn't quite written his part of the story yet.
The post-Brady part of it, sure, but him being successful independent of Brady, that's already there. It's already there. It's the post-Brady part's the only part that, for him, has to be, I guess, put together, etched into stone for how successful he is now.
So a couple weeks ago, we talked about, like, what is the Super Bowl that you want to see, and what is the Super Bowl that you think is going to happen? I don't think you were here for that episode.
No, I wasn't.
But my answer was Lamar against Kyler for the Super Bowl I want to see, because I want to see that style quarterback matchup. But the Super Bowl that I think is going to happen right now is Tampa against New England.
Tampa, New England would be fun. I'm still sticking by my initial prediction. Tampa, Kansas City, Tampa repeats.
I'm just not sure with Kansas City right now.
I'm looking at the AFC. The only team I could really see beating them is the Patriots. I still think Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid's Andy Reid. I still think they're still too good.
Here's my thing with the Chiefs, though, is that their offense is struggling right now. It's their defense carrying them. It's pretty much been their defense carrying them for a majority of this season, I would say. Am I wrong in that assessment?
I mean, their offense is not at the same level as it was before, sure, but I mean, they did drop 41 points on the Raiders a couple weeks ago.
That's because the Raiders decided not to play cover 2, and then they decided to instead play a defense that actually benefited Kansas City.
I got good news for you. They played the Raiders this week, then they play the Chargers, then they play the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Broncos. What do you think their lowest point total during that entire stretch is going to be? Because it's not going to be a low number. It's not going to be a low number.
Against the Steelers, I think it could be, actually.
I don't think so.
Chargers beat them earlier in the season in Kansas City.
Yeah, and they still scored 24 points in that game. It's not like they're the Browns winning games with only scoring 14 points. It's a big difference.
So, anyway.
I would like to see Packers and Patriots, but I think we're probably going to see Cardinals and Chiefs.
I would love to see the Cardinals in the Super Bowl. I think they can do it, actually. I don't get it. Everybody's talking about the Packers. Everybody's talking about the Buccaneers. Everybody's talking about the Cowboys. Nobody even... But the Cardinals are over here just like, hey, we're the number 1 seed. Hi. But nobody's giving them the respect I think they rightfully deserve.
Because they had to sit down 2 of their best players for a couple weeks. Sure, they won games, but you're not winning games with Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. Nobody cares.
But they still won. A win's a win.
Who cares? This is what I'm trying to say. The other teams are still trotting out Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. They're playing Colt McCoy.
But now they have Kyler back.
That's fine, but again, they were doing it without Kyler, so no one's going to care about those wins.
You don't think people were more impressed about that?
Honestly, what that does, the fact they're winning games with Colt McCoy, allowed people to have questions about Kyler Murray and question how good of a quarterback he is. They went with Colt McCoy. How important is Kyler Murray?
I think that says more about Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach.
I think Cliff Kingsbury is a completely overrated head coach. I don't think he's very good. And as far as Kyler Murray goes, I mean, Colt McCoy succeeding with him out doesn't make him look as good now, does it?
Yeah, it does, actually.
How? How does another quarterback going in and winning games and playing well make the other guy who wasn't playing look good?
Because I backed myself into a corner.
Yes,
yeah, I'm going to reset that last statement. Never mind.
All right, I'll save you by just saying, basically, is it cliche to say if it's not the Browns, I don't care? Or if it's an AFC North team, I'll be disappointed if it's not the Browns?
No, it's not.
Okay.
'Cause that's kind of how I feel with the landscape of the NFL this year.
All right, well, we got to hit a commercial break, and when we come back, we are talking college football and the head coach carousel.
At risk of losing your home in a foreclosure? We can help. We'll deal with your bank, reduce your payments, lower your principal, improve your credit rating. We'll buy you a pony, give you the ability to fly. We'll let you pilot a blimp. We'll bring your childhood cat back from the dead. We'll name a comet after you. We'll let you ride a unicorn. We'll carve your name into the moon with lasers. We'll arrange a meet and greet with Santa Claus. We'll give you a treat.
If you're facing foreclosure, there are a lot of companies promising to help you. All of the information can be really confusing. But who should you trust? The Hope Hotline. The Hope Hotline is a free resource connecting you with HUD-approved housing counseling agencies available 24 hours a day who understand your situation. Since 2007, they've helped over 5 million people get the clarity and information they need. Call the Hope Hotline at 888-995-HOPE. That's 888-995-4673. Brought to you by NeighborWorks America and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hour 2 on So What's the Catch is when things get weird. Here on All Sports Cleveland.
Welcome back into the JTO as the Menor Cardinals are looking to tie up this ball game. We got 3rd down and 3.
Everywhere that we go, he makes people laugh and makes people smile, and I feel like I have that quality.
He's the one who always takes me fishing.
I watch golf with him. And
I watch him cook because when I grow up, I want to be a cook too.
We have the same faces like this.
Dad is the one, when you fall, that picks you up.
That unconditional sense of presence and reassurance is really what makes him my father.
You wanted the best? Well, too bad. You're stuck with us. It's So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland.
Welcome back to So What's the Catch here on All Sports Cleveland, and we are talking about the head coaching carousel because several coaches left notable programs and they're going to other ones, starting with Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame to become the head coach of LSU. Lincoln Riley is leaving Oklahoma to become the head coach of USC, and then Mario Cristobal is leaving Oregon to become the head coach of Miami. So, what do you guys think of these coaches leaving one program to join another?
Well, Brian Kelly going to LSU, I really didn't see that coming. I'm not surprised, considering some of the limitations Notre Dame has from a recruiting standpoint. But going to LSU and for some reason adopting a Southern accent out of nowhere seemed to be the best move for Brian Kelly.
That was hilarious when he did that. I think of those 3, the best move was Lincoln Riley going to USC.
Oh, 100%. You look at the trajectory of the Oklahoma teams while he was their head coach, and they've done worse and worse as each year's gone on over the past 4 years or so. And then you look at Oklahoma getting set to join the SEC, something that he was against from at the start, and he was like, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go to USC where I can go to California, go use me being Lincoln Riley where I still have a good reputation, recruit guys in Southern California to come play for USC, a program that still has some prestige even though they've stumbled over the past, 15 years.
Yeah, and Mario Cristobal leaving Oregon, did he have that much success with the Ducks?
I don't know about success, but him going to Miami was literally the most expected move of all time.
Yeah. As soon as they fired Manny Diaz as their head coach, I'm like, yeah, they're getting Mario Cristobal.
They really didn't mean fire. They went to hire Cristobal and then fire Manny Diaz. So it was kind of funny.
Why did, because you said it was obvious, and I just don't know that much about this. Why?
He has ties to Miami.
I think he's from Miami originally.
What was that before that? Brian Kelly. Why did he go to LSU?
I'm wondering the same thing.
Because I felt like that was kind of a step down.
Well, Notre Dame, think of like where Notre Dame is. It's sit right in the middle of the Midwest. So he's competing against Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin, all those schools for the best recruits in this area. LSU, it doesn't matter how bad the team is, the best athletes in Louisiana want to go to LSU regardless of where they are and who the coach is.
That does make sense from a recruiting standpoint.
From a recruiting standpoint, he's going to get the best guys in LSU every single year, from Louisiana every single year to come to LSU. He doesn't really have to really work as hard. And plus, Notre Dame has very strict restrictions about how a lot of things that they do go, as far as a program standpoint, just a university standpoint. He doesn't have to deal with that down in LSU.
And the other thing is, with Notre Dame, I don't feel like they really recruit true football players, whereas at LSU, you're getting like 4-star players, 5-star players that are more than likely going to be playing on Sundays. You're not going to see that very often with Notre Dame.
I can think of a linebacker currently on the Browns that went to Notre Dame.
Missing it.
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Okay.
Okay, but he's like the only one that I can think of right off the top of my head that went to Notre Dame. Whereas from LSU, you got Joe Burrow, the quarterback of the Bengals, as we talked about. Let's see. We've got Justin Jefferson, wide receiver for the Vikings. You've got OBJ,
Jamar Chase.
Yep, Jamar Chase. Let's see. Odell. So LSU has more players, I would say, in the NFL than Notre Dame does.
So I'm going to just go down a quick list of Notre Dame Fighting Irish currently in NFL, and tell me if you're impressed by some of these names. Ronnie Stanley.
Okay, Ravens tackle.
He's really good. Like I said, J.O.K. Zach Martin.
Oh, the Cowboys offensive lineman?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Quentin Nelson.
Colts offensive lineman.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Will Fuller.
He's been okay.
Harrison Smith.
Okay.
Kyle Rudolph. Chase Claypool. Stephon Tuitt. Mike McGlinchey. Golden Tate's still in the league somehow.
Okay, but my overall... Okay, so that discredits my point a little bit. I'll give you that. But it just feels like LSU, in general, okay, maybe not recently, but it feels like in general, LSU produces more NFL talent.
I'll say they produce more quality guys. I will say that, but it's not like it's Northwestern or Indiana, it's or Maryland or Rutgers. They're getting real players from Notre Dame.
That's true.
What else you got?
So what are your early thoughts on Ohio State's matchup against Utah in the Rose Bowl?
Do they have a chance to advance?
No.
Then I don't care.
Because the Rose Bowl is not part of the college football playoff.
I know.
Exactly.
So I literally do not care. I'm not. I might watch this game. I probably won't. They don't have a chance to advance. They don't have a chance to win the title. I don't care.
I'll watch it just to see how they play and just because I follow the team. I mean, I would watch the spring game. I watch just about anything for Ohio State, but it's not something I'm excited about.
So for you, the Rose Bowl has lost its prestige.
I don't care because they're not going to win a title. That's the state of the program at Ohio State.
But then doesn't that go against the argument of, say, not expanding the playoff if people aren't going to be excited about games such as this one?
Being excited for non-championship bowl games is just not something that's ever been part of me. If it's not a chance to advance to the title game or
because I think
I don't care.
I think a lot of people are like you. In that sense.
Well, they are. But the teams that are usually fans of teams that are usually excited about bowl games are ones that usually have zero chance of winning a title. So you look at teams that are never going to be in the college football playoff conversation. Then you get excited when Illinois wins a bowl game, or when Pitt wins a bowl game, or some of those other lower kind of mid-tier SEC teams or teams that have fallen off for a little bit. Florida fell off for a little bit. If they win a bowl game, they get excited because they're not quite the same program they were when Urban Meyer was there. You look at Texas. Texas gets really excited when they win a bowl game because they've been irrelevant for so long.
And they just lost. And they lost to Kansas this season.
So it's those mid-tier teams or teams that have fallen off that you get excited for that bowl game win. The teams that are no longer in the championship conversation. But if you're a team that's actively competing for titles, cool. Rose Bowl might have meant something 20, 30 years ago. I don't care.
I think Zach's point, though, I could be wrong, but I think what you were saying was if you expanded the playoff, wouldn't you have more interesting games?
You would, just flat out.
Yeah, I agree.
You might, but I mean, I look at it from the way it is currently, the way it's set up currently. Does Ohio State have a chance to win a title? No. I don't care.
Okay, and I understand what you're saying. Yeah. So currently, the way it is, no, this game is not interesting, but that is kind of my point of, well, if you expanded it and made it more interesting because there were more teams in this playoff, more people would be in tune to the games.
So that's at least one argument that argues for expanding.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So let me pose this to you. So Ohio State playing Utah in the Rose Bowl, as we said. Utah just destroyed Oregon twice in the regular season. And then Oregon went into Ohio State and beat the Buckeyes. So if Utah wins, what does that say about Oregon?
Literally nothing.
No?
Nothing. Whatever happens in the ex-girlfriend of Urban Meyer Bowl has zero impact on what Oregon is going to do or how good they are. Oregon just lost their head coach. How many players on Oregon do you think aren't going to play? How many players on Ohio State aren't going to play, for that matter? Or Utah?
That's true.
So this game literally means nothing.
Yep.
I'm still going to watch because it's the Rose Bowl.
What does that mean?
What day is this game? I'm not familiar with non-playoff games. What is this? You're a Penn State fan. You know what this is.
Excuse me?
Yeah, what's up?
How does this non-playoff bowl game work?
Speaking of, what is Penn State's bowl game?
They are in the Outback Bowl against Arkansas.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Or the other name we can call them Arkansas.
Sounds about right.
But Rose Bowl is usually the first day of the new year.
So New Year's Day, what, at noon?
Something like that, yeah. Or I think it's a little bit later in the day.
I'll be doing something. I don't know what I'll be doing. It sounds like prime nap time. Honestly.
All right.
Because it's New Year's Eve the night before, depending on what time I wake up the next day and how I'm feeling.
Oh, most definitely.
Oh, yeah. So, might be a little groggy.
Which is why it's the perfect day for those games.
I think that's the perfect day because people are going to... It's the weekend, I'm pretty sure. And
no matter what day of the week the New Year's Day is, doesn't really matter for that game. It's just this is the game where people just don't leave their couch because they drank too much the night before. Or if they even make it to their couch, they might be in bed.
Yeah, so
it's gonna be so cold during that time.
So the Rose Bowl is 5 o'clock on January 1st. OSU is currently a 6.5 point favorite.
5 o'clock?
Yes. Actually, Penn State kicks off the New Year's Day bowl games on January 1st against Arkansas in the Outback Bowl, and the Nittany Lions are currently a 2-point favorite. Not that that means that very much.
I don't know what I'll be doing, but I probably won't be watching the Rose Bowl.
Huh.
Before we go to break, I got a berserker this week.
You got a berserker of the week?
All right, we'll do this before segment 8. All right. What's your berserker?
No one's doing a drum roll? Okay.
That's the best you're getting.
The winner this week, Jared Allen.
Jared Allen?
Jared Allen.
Okay.
All right, I like it.
So his double streak coming to an end gave him the berserker of the week.
And the fact he's probably going to average close to 20 points this season.
What's he at right now?
17.
Okay.
I like it. All right, take us to commercial land.
Got it.
I'll do a quick Columbus.
A lot can happen in 6 seconds. A rodeo ride, a dramatic basketball win, and the world record holder can solve a Rubik's Cube. 6 seconds is how long it takes for an 18-wheeler traveling at a safe speed to come to a complete stop. And in those 6 seconds, that truck will travel the length of 2 football fields. So please, give them room. Never cut in front of a large truck for any reason. Our roads, our safety. Learn more at sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Friends die from drinking and driving. Friends die from drinking and... Friends don't let friends drive.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much, for taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot,
for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for taking you to your therapies, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
So what's the catch on All Sports Cleveland? Trying to stump James for over 6 months and failing. But hope springs eternal. It's Kramer quiz time.
There we go. Welcome back to All Sports Cleveland.
So what's the catch on All Sports Cleveland?
There we go.
Yeah, my brain's melting right now. But
we all get those brain farts.
Yes. We will get to the Kramer quiz in 1 second, but first, I see what you did there. Knee slapper. But here's a quick Columbus Blue Jackets update. They have lost 4 out of their last 6 games. They host the Anaheim Ducks on Thursday before embarking on another road trip that will take them to Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, and then Buffalo. So, a weird road trip, but right now, the Blue Jackets, I believe, they are in 5th place. They are 13-11-0, and they have 26 points. And they also just agreed to an extension of their AHL affiliation here in Cleveland with the Monsters. So, that partnership will continue. The Monsters have been affiliated with the Blue Jackets since the 2015-2016 season. That was the season where we won our Calder Cup championship. And since then, the Monsters have had a few playoff appearances. They've pretty much had winning seasons the entire time. And there you go. And now it's Kramer quiz time.
Possibly.
What do you mean, possibly?
Still working on finding the quiz?
Yeah.
Do you want me to just go to the trivia questions that I had?
Yeah, go ahead with your trivia question. Man, I'm really running out. I've done so many NFL quizzes. I can't find it anymore. I'm trying.
I was going to bring in a new segment and replace my quiz because I want to give Kramer his quiz back because I kind of hijacked it. But
it's kind of done. It's almost done with. We've done so many. Or at least I'm going to have to switch to a different sport.
You might have to just switch to a different sport.
Yeah. All right.
Diversify.
So we got 7 questions this time.
Okay.
What golf tournament did Tiger Woods win by 12 strokes in 1997 to record his first major championship win?
British Open.
Nope. Any other guesses?
Masters?
Yes, it was the Masters.
Hey.
Okay. What material was first used to cover baseballs?
Repeat that.
What material was...
Cowhide.
Yes, that is correct. You are on the board, Kramer. All right. Who was the last... I don't know if anybody's going to get this because it's a hockey question, but we'll try it. Who was the last NHL player to leave the league without having used a helmet?
Sidney Crosby.
No.
That's the only hockey player I know.
To leave the league and
without having used a helmet.
Michael Ruzioni.
That's all I know from the movie.
I don't know.
Craig McTavish.
Yeah.
So he played without a helmet?
Yes.
And they allowed that?
I guess. What year was the first ever Wimbledon tournament held?
1922.
Nope.
1885.
1877.
Wow, that's actually close.
You were. All right.
Give me half of.
You get half a point.
You get half a point.
All right.
In darts, what is the highest possible score using 3 darts?
Bullseye.
That's not a score.
I have no clue.
The highest one you get.
150.
Oh, you're close. It's actually 180.
180. Yeah, triple 20s. Yeah.
What water sport is the official state individual sport of Hawaii?
Surfing.
Yes.
Okay.
Last one. In what year were the first Air Jordan sneakers released?
1984.
Yes.
1984?
Those are the only 7 questions I've got.
I got some.
Yeah, I knew the Air Jordan question.
All right, so now that we got to start.
This is why I don't do the quizzes anymore.
I switched it up a little bit. We're going to do funny sports quiz.
Okay.
So a good walk spoiled is how Mark Twain is believed to have described which sport?
Baseball.
No.
Soccer.
No.
Good walk spoiled.
Cricket.
You already guessed.
You already guessed. And still no.
Good walk spoiled.
I use sport in quotation marks too. By the way.
Running?
No. Zach, any last guesses?
Tennis? I don't know. I have no
Golf.
idea.
Golf. Okay.
Makes sense.
I get
Good
it.
walk spoiled.
Michael Jordan has worn 3 numbers over his NBA career: 23, 45, and.
He wore number 12.
That is correct. Our match on February 14th of 1990, he wore number 12 as his jersey had been stolen.
Is there more to that stolen?
Someone just stole his jersey. They just had to give him a replacement one.
Like, did they
He had a
sell
good
it?
game, from what I heard.
I'm not sure.
I'm just curious.
I don't remember what happened with the jersey.
I feel like if you tried to sell that, you'd end up in jail. But the New Zealand men's basketball team has which nickname?
What? Tiny team?
The New Zealand men's basketball team has which nickname? You don't know New Zealand basketball trivia?
No.
Zealanders?
No, it's the Tall Blacks. A spin on the name of the New Zealand Rugby World Cup team, the All Blacks.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the next one's too easy, but I'll still give it. We'll see who jumps on this. In bowling, what is the name given for 3?
Turkey.
You got it right. As soon as I said 3, he was going to get it.
I have a feeling that was going to be the question, so I'm sitting there just waiting for you to say 3.
Which Chicago Cubs player once had to take off time due to a violent sneeze?
Sammy Sosa.
Was Sammy Sosa. It was one day he sneezed so violently he ended up suffering back spasms.
Yeah, I heard about that story.
I've done that. It sucks.
What's the name of the fictional sport played in the Harry Potter series?
Quidditch.
I got
Everybody knew that one. But James got it first.
I don't even watch Harry Potter.
I never read the books.
Neither did I.
I just knew the answer.
I read all the books. Yeah,
and
definitely.
saw the movies.
I was a dork for Harry Potter growing
Do you guys know that they're doing like a special TV Harry Potter competition?
Like a quiz.
A quiz show, yeah.
I kind of grew up out of it, but I read like the first 3 books and then never really kept going.
I read all the books. I remember actually when I was in school, all the kids got books delivered to the school. So one day in I think it was 5th grade, a box of Harry Potter 7 books came to our classroom for all the kids, and it was just a huge deal.
That was definitely the one book that you could get kids to read.
Yeah.
Just real quick comment, then we'll get back to the quiz. Me and Kramer are of the age where Harry Potter books were banned when we went to school.
Yes. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to read them.
Oh, yeah. What was the name of the book you were telling Kramer and I to read?
I'll tell you after the show.
The average baseball game lasts for 2 to 3 hours. During this time, on average, how many minutes of action are there?
12.
A little bit more.
15.
No.
17.
No, but oh so close.
Shark, just throw out a number.
27.
18.
So close.
Around 90% of a baseball game is spent standing. Time between pitches alone take an average of 1 hour and 15 minutes of game.
But isn't that what makes it authentic, is that it's like a bunch of nothing overall?
When I'm at home, it gives me time to just browse on Twitter and get in Twitter fights, so it's fun.
But that's what baseball is, though. So.
Yeah, that's part of the reason, I like going, but at the same time, it's, annoying to go because you're just sitting there, waiting and waiting and waiting.
Well, if you're like me, you just sit there enjoying some adult beverages.
I'm not like you in that regard.
In which sport do competitors race towards a finish line but don't cross it?
Drag racing.
No.
Race towards finish.
You race towards the finish line, but you do not cross it.
NASCAR?
You still cross the finish line in NASCAR.
And no.
I would do my redneck impression for NASCAR, but I don't think I should.
No. Jeez.
It's kind of one of those silly wordplay kind of questions.
I'm stumped.
What is the finish line? It's swimming.
Swimming?
Because
you don't cross it. Yep.
Yep.
Motown Muscle, the Philadelphia Hitmen, and the Las Vegas High Rollers are all professional team names from which sport?
Bowling.
Oh, okay.
Impressive.
I've heard that one once before. I don't remember where, so don't ask.
Colorado Rockies player Clint Barnes broke his collarbone after carrying what up his stairs at his house? If you don't know this one off the top of your head, I don't think anybody's going to get it.
Yeah, I don't know this one. Groceries.
Any last guesses? Insanely close. You get half a point. Anybody want to try to finish that out for the other half? Deer meat.
Okay.
Venison.
Deer meat. I gave him half a point, though. So James is now at...
I remember the story when Clint Barnes messed up his...
We got James at 3.5, Josh 2, Kramer 2, Chirk 1, Zach 0.5.
I love it. 0.5.
You get 3 more, you're right there.
Yeah, like the Browns.
Good. Brothers Phil and Gary Neville are well known in the English football or soccer scene. What is their father's first name?
Jerry?
No.
Tony?
No. I think we actually had this question before, but it was such a long time ago, nobody's going to remember.
John.
No. It's a real silly. Chirk, any guess?
Dan.
Neville.
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 No.
Wasn't there somebody?
Why are you guessing Tony for an English guy? By the way?
That's a good question.
Wait, wasn't there a character named Neville in iCarly?
There was also.
I'm too old for that show. Next question.
No clue.
What about Adrian Neville, the wrestler?
Measuring up at 4'10", South Africa's Jake Malala is the shortest ever boxing world champion. What was his nickname?
Shorty?
It's along that line, but no.
Beetlejuice.
No. Interesting, but no.
Do you know who that is?
No, I do not know.
I don't know who Beetlejuice is.
From Howard Stern?
I know Beetlejuice.
Okay, whatever.
Beat.
I give up.
Any last guesses? Baby Jake. Baby Jake.
Okay.
Bullman, Harry the Harbor Dog, and Daddy Cool are all mascots from what sport?
Volleyball.
No.
Talk about all those volleyball mascots. I don't know. Baseball.
Harry the Harbor Dog. No.
Soccer.
No.
Roller derby.
You were so close. Rugby. And it sounded like you were starting to say it. You were like, roller derby.
Almost, Josh.
Last question. Which sports movie had the tagline, the coach is waiting for his next beer, the pitcher is waiting for her first brawl, the team is waiting for a miracle?
Bad News Bears.
Bad News Bears.
Wasn't hardball?
James wins again.
I mean, that's just a weekly occurrence. Even went with some goofy quiz, and I still won.
That's why James got all the names.
Come on.
Any last things before we head off?
We still have 2 minutes, but I don't know.
Oh, let's keep this real quick. Do the Browns win this weekend? Josh?
Yes. No.
Zach?
No.
No.
Jeremy? Chirk?
Yes.
Of course you say yes. I'm saying no.
Do the Cavs beat the Bulls tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, just for you, Josh. Because you'll be there.
Yes with an asterisk.
Why do you say asterisks?
Because the Bulls are missing too many players.
You're just a hater.
No, I'm keeping it real.
No, you're
It's
not.
not going wrong. Anyone who's seen Chappelle's show knows exactly what I'm talking about. Anyways, what do we got? We got 1 minute left. Any final thoughts? Chirk, you already had your Berserker of the Week.
Super Bowl champs.
Who? Who's the Super Bowl
Who?
champs?
They might be Brown.
Never change.
How many wins did The Undertaker? I'm just going to shoot us with a last second question.
Oh, we're doing wrestling?
It's a WWE question. Josh, you should have
I don't.
the answer.
I don't.
How many wins did The Undertaker have at WrestleMania before the
21.
streak ended? 21.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, he lost that streak against Brock Lesnar.
I saw that when it happened when he lost.
Yep. He lost against Lesnar.
I got one more. Why not? Which wrestling superstar, I just thought this is interesting, is a cousin of Snoop Dogg?
Saucer Banks.
Correct.
Yes.
Man, I'm going to have to come with a WWE quiz.
The boss.
I would get destroyed in a WWE quiz.
Yeah, I would wreck you in that.
If you want to see me lose a quiz, bring a WWE quiz to the table.
But it's been real. It's been fun. It has not
been real fun.
But it's been the same old thing, and we will see you again next week here on So What's the Catch?
Feel better, Brian.
See ya.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of So What's the Catch?
Pretty chill
Join us
episode.
next week for more hot takes and very interesting conversation,
Okay,
to say the least. So yeah, follow us on all our social media platforms. And yeah, go Brownies.
It's got like 3 different rounds.
Did I just not put together a good rundown or something?
As the Elyria Catholic Panthers are leading the Parma Redmen 28-7. Mac, what did you see there at that first quarter?
Just saying,
So for me, I was looking at the fact that when you had the Elyria Catholic offense doing a great job.
And English is going to be set to start the second quarter here. He looks over to the sideline. They're going to change this play. The running back moves to his right in the shotgun. He's got 2 wide receivers out to his right, 2 out to his left. And the snap is going to be a shuffle pass to the back. That is number 20, and he's got it. He's going to get to the 10-yard line, the 5-yard line, and that is going to be a touchdown to start the second quarter.